Welcome to the Whisky Business Podcast, where we dive into the rich and fascinating world of whisky and the equally complex landscape of business. I'm your host, Ash Plaisted, here to guide you through conversations that blend the culture and enjoyment of great whisky with the craft of building lasting business success. Each episode will be an exploration of the subtle connections between the smooth complexities of a fine dram and the strategic decisions that shape thriving enterprises. So pour yourself a glass, settle in, and join us as we discover how passion and precision make all the difference in both whisky and business. Hello, Ash Plaisted here, your host of the Whisky Business Show. I hope wherever you are in Australia or the world for that matter, you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, week, month as we approach the festive season. So today I'm going to take the show in a slightly different direction. I've spoken quite a lot about various unique things about certain whiskies and things in the mortgage broking industry and business generally that correlate between what makes certain whiskies amazing and desirable and valuable, and what makes certain businesses amazing, desirable and valuable. So today I'm going to line up a slightly different view of those factors. And as always, let's start with a fantastic whiskey. So I'll just reach over here and grab a beautiful whiskey from Laphroaig. So Laphroaig is a distillery on the island of Islay, off the south-west coast of Scotland. So this is Laphroaig's 10-year-old sherry oak finish single malt whiskey, ABV of 48%. Now, this is a very richly flavoured whiskey. Not a particularly expensive whiskey. I think this bottle would set you back maybe around $100, maybe $120, $130, depending on where you buy it from. But it's not one that's got any special provenance beyond certain factors. So the whiskey itself is aged in Oloroso sherry oak casks. Now, I want to take this conversation about Laphroaig in a couple of different directions. I'll come back to the brand in a moment. But firstly, I want to speak for a moment about Oloroso. What is Oloroso sherry? So Oloroso sherries are sourced out of Spain, and sherries can be either dry or sweet. So Oloroso is a dry sherry. And as it applies to the whiskey aging process, the government in Spain changed the laws in 1981, stipulating that sherry must be bottled in Spain. So what this means now is to get whiskey aged in Oloroso casks, they are made specifically for that purpose. It's very rare that a cask is used by a sherry bodega, which is a sherry house, who actually age sherry in the production of whiskey. Single malt whiskey aged in sherry casks is regarded as very special by its aficionados. I love sherry-aged whiskey, whether it be sweet or dry. This one's a dry, probably lean slightly towards dry as my preference. So whether the whiskey is finished in a Oloroso cask after being in another cask and then finished off in Oloroso, or whether it's straight from, the production process and then into a Oloroso cask for its entire aging process. So the Oloroso wine gets infused in the wood of the cask and then imparts some of the flavour and aroma of the wine, of the sherry, to the whiskey during the aging process. And Oloroso casks are occasionally used to age brandy as well. But we are particularly talking around whiskey, and a whiskey that was matured only in Oloroso cask is often fruitier, with stronger notes of tobacco, pepper, and stewed fruits. So that's a little bit about Oloroso, sherry, sweet, dry. Let's also talk about Laphroaig, and I'll go from here into the business connection. So Laphroaig is one of those distilleries, I think, that when people talk about Scottish single malt whiskey and what's their favourite distillery or favourite whiskey brand, a lot of people will quote Laphroaig. So when we visited there a few months ago, myself and Tom, of course, you've got to go there. It's a fantastic distillery. It's been going since 1815, so over 200 years. nearly as long as Australia's been discovered, Laphroaig has been putting out fantastic whiskey. So it's got that provenance, that age, that just makes it sort of this mythical, mysterious, desirable brand. This particular whiskey, other than being aged in a sherry oak cask, Oloroso, I would argue that it's not got any other particularly desirable features. It's nothing other than unique about it. Other distilleries do similar things. So why is it so desirable? Why is it so well recognised? Why do a lot of people looking to buy a whiskey immediately think of Laphroaig? This is the question. Very, very important question. So when it comes to a mortgage business, a mortgage broking business, what will make people think of your business when the need, desire, pressure, requirement to deal with a mortgage comes to them? This is a really important point. So people don't go hunting for mortgages as a desirable thing. People hunt for mortgages when life's circumstances make it something that they need to do. And what do people do when they're looking for a mortgage? Do they suddenly type into their search engine, what's the best new mortgage broker in my area? No, they don't. They will immediately connect to the broker who they're already aware of. I want to make this point. This is what Laphroaig does fantastically well, as does other distilleries like Macallan, maybe Lagavulin. They do a fantastic job of building brand, building credibility, connecting with future customers before that future customer realizes they need them. Take this into your mortgage business. A great strategy for any mortgage business, including new and aged, is to start connecting with your customers before they realize they need you. When they actually need you, that's too late to start connecting with them. They'll go to the one they've already heard of. So it's really, really important to get the basics of a mortgage business right. Your service, your proposition, your process, your communications, your product selection, the people in your business, all of those basics. It's very important to get those right. Yes, but people are not going to come to you for any of those reasons. They're going to come to you because somewhere previously they've seen your brand. Was it on social media? Was it through some sort of community building event? Was it through some sort of marketing? Was it through word of mouth? Was it through your 200 Google reviews? What was it that was positioning well in advance of the need, your brand being in front of prospective customers? It's a really, really important hack is to start building relationships with future customers before they need you. Now, beyond that, to take it to another niche level is who are your future ideal customers? Are they first home buyers? Are they refinancers? Are they self-employed people that are time poor? Are they high profile, high net worth, high income professionals, medicos and lawyers and architects, those sorts of people? Or is it, debt reconstruction during difficult times? Those people, where are they? And how do you build connection with them in advance of them taking the next step to look into the service that you provide so that when that time comes, your business has this, what I call a multi-point validation. They've heard of you in social media. They've seen something maybe in mainstream media. They've seen you maybe promoted in their local community. They've heard of you through a little bit of, barbecue conversation with friends and family, but they haven't needed you at that time, so they've taken no action. But guess what happens? When the need arises as a first-time buyer, refinance, upgrading house, building wealth, guess who they go to when they now need to investigate a mortgage? They don't go and search best mortgage broker in my community. What they do is they go, oh, that one that I've heard of 2 or 3 times, I'll hunt them down. That's how you win without having to have anything particularly unique about your business. So this is taking it away from some of those USP approaches I've spoken about previously and just saying, be really, really good at the basics and then think 6 to 12 months ahead and start to build a long tail of opportunities where people, when they're ready, they will come to you. Yes, you need customers in the short term, and you can build those inflows with real estate agents and other places. But a long-term pipeline of prospects who don't even realise they're a prospect until something goes off and triggers them, who need the services that you provide. So that's the crossover between Laphroaig and a mortgage broking business. Laphroaig is a fantastic distillery, does all of the basics really well, and they've got some fantastic, really expensive and really desirable whiskies as well. But this 10-year-old sherry cask, sherry oak finish is what I would call fairly mainstream. Really nice whiskey, but fairly mainstream. But actually, at the moment, you can't buy it. It's sold out because it attracts a lot of people looking for a whiskey but don't know where to start. They've heard of Laphroaig. So take the learnings out of that, apply it to how you build your brand, your credibility, your reputation online and elsewhere. And then over time, that will start to attract a lot of client prospects and referral prospects to your business. Have a fantastic day. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Whisky Business Show, and I'll see you on the next episode.